Thomas Jefferson, you all know him? Yes, he's favorite people, actually. I close out my book with a soliloquy from Thomas Jefferson. I actually end my book with it. Because Thomas Jefferson made a statement. Here's a man highly regarded in the United States. I mean, there are more statues of him than probably anybody. And he made a statement towards the end of his life. He says, "Indeed, I tremble for my country when I consider that God is just and that his justice cannot sleep forever." You see, it haunted him to his grave because Thomas Jefferson knew. He knew what would happen. Matter of fact, he predicted exactly what we're dealing with today. People of African descent and those of European descent predicted it. He was a bright man. How do you reconcile behaving in such a barbaric way? Well, let's see what he said. He said blacks smelled bad and were physically unattractive. Well, this was consistent with his behavior because, you know, he fathered slaves, Sally Hemings. So they didn't smell that bad. Now, here's a more important one. He said we required less sleep. Now, that one's more interesting to me. Why would he need to? What dissonance was he feeling that he would need to believe that blacks required less sleep? Why? What did he do? You know, he owned slaves. So what do you think? How hard do you think he worked them? What was a work day for a slave? Sunrise to sunset. But do you have any empirical evidence, Joy? Can you prove that? Because you know, if they, count it and measure it, it didn't happen in European culture. Is that correct? You got to count and measure it. How many of you have measurable objectives? Measurable outcomes. You better measure it. I don't care if you tell them. Can you tell your boss really, truly, at the end of the year, we're doing better now? I've been to work every single day I've watched, and I can guarantee you we're doing better. Is that going to fly? That would be no. That means you have to count it and measure it. And if you didn't count and measure, it didn't happen. So when you start looking at the notion of requiring less sleep, that's an interesting thing because I have to believe if I work you that hard. And boy, I got humbled when how hard folks worked in the sugar plantations. I got humbled by how hard folks in the Caribbean were worked. But what I decided to do is I looked at the Library of Congress. Most of my work over the 9 years that it took to write the book, 6 years of that was research. The other part of it had to do with
my people. We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, Cassidra? How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. How are you?
That's good. I'm good. I was going through some technical difficulties. I've been sitting here for like the last 2 hours, even waiting on the whole thing. And as soon as I'm about to get on here, my whole system crashed. Not my system, but my internet started blinking. You know what I'm saying? I called them and everything, trying to hurry up and get them. They can get it to come.
Oh man.
What's going on, Matron? Shouts out to Matron in the building.
Hey, Matron.
I like it, and it made me super. But anyway, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I was running late myself. I was at the gym. So yeah. But I'm here. We're ready.
Oh yeah, we're going on because this is a good topic that we got today.
Huh?
Yeah.
We'll deal with some lies today.
Yeah, and so, and I was gonna show you some other stuff because I know we ain't gonna have time because we're gonna get more to the topic. We're gonna get to the topic faster than we would have. And so we'll talk about something that kind of set it up. Let's see. We'll start it here then. I'll just skip some. Come back to the other stuff another day, maybe like tomorrow or Friday or something if you got time. Of course. So, all right. So, first of all, I want you to hear what this dude said. You probably agree.
Ain't no telling what coming out their mouth.
We all just get along. And he also posed this question. Check it out.
If white people are so awful, keep moving to their neighborhoods.
So that's a good question.
Wow, I like. Yeah. Ooh, that was the question of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because I skipped some up, but I want you to see this. Because this is going to kind of lead to the topic. Now, look at this black couple, who was
911, what is the address of your emergency? Yes, I've got an emergency at 3240 Southeast 23rd. Parents at the school yelling and refusing to leave.
Former principal Teresa Rast calls 911 from the Madeline School, March 31st.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cassidra. Now, mind you, their son got called the N-word, and then their son got suspended and expelled from the school because they got called it.
Okay.
And so when the parents went up there, the principal called the police on the black parents, and that was the phone call right there.
Isn't that what they usually do? Call the police? They want to weaponize the
You
police.
can hear the voices in the background as Rast answers.
That's what they do.
There's the operator's questions.
Do you know what their names are? No. Okay, and are they white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
What does that matter?
Second one.
Rast tells the operator she doesn't want to.
Right, the second one.
Why does that matter? Why are you asking that question? To see how fast you're going to come or what unit you're going to send, or why does that question matter?
Go ahead.
Why does that question matter when she asks what color are they? I don't understand that. What difference does it make if somebody needs, I don't understand that question. Why would you ask that question? What color are they?
Yeah, it's going to be point what we talk about today, because I'm curious to hear what you got
A few
to say
minutes
about
later,
that.
she's heard interacting with the parents.
And you want to nail me to a cross over and over and over again, and it's not for that. I'm right here advocating for your child who did come sit in my office and does trust me. And that's fine. Well, then you act like he does. Well, he acts like he trusts me all the time. So, oh my God.
You can't hear the parents' voices clearly on the recording, but Kara Stoudemire Phillips and Mike Phillips told us in person earlier this month they had rushed to the school to comfort their son after a racial slur may have been him and to question how leadership was going to respond. They said they were met with defensiveness by then Principal Rast.
We were just wanting answers. And she stated that, if we don't trust her, then we can
trust you.
Take him out. He can go somewhere else.
She yelled at us. If you don't trust me, then why do you even have him at the school?
Why do you want him to have this terrible relationship with the school?
And she's right.
Then why do you have him here? Well, I'm the one leading the pack here. Sorry.
A few seconds later,
I'm sorry, you have to be able to party and if you want to get to school.
Phillips telling KGW he questioned Principal Rast's motivation for calling police.
If it was a threat, I'm fine now. You did that because you could.
Why do you think, Negro? But anyway, consider it's more.
But, you know what?
Well, what
my
you think
thing is,
that?
I don't care because we done told y'all get your children away from them as far as you can, and you still won't. So you're gonna keep going through this, and it's getting ready to get worse because I do believe that some other nefarious things are getting ready to happen to Black folk in America. And you, just like the man said, just like she said, why do you have them here? I totally agree. Why do you? You know they don't want your children there, but you're gonna force them. Just like we forced them to feed us in their restaurants. That's the most disgusting thing ever. Remember? We're going to force them to take our money. This is crazy. I don't feel, hey, good for you. What's next? Seriously, this is crazy. I don't feel for these dummies. When these parents have their kids in all white schools, I feel nothing because your child getting ready to get traumatized. PTSD, Stockholm Syndrome, and Coonville. Here they come. So I don't feel bad. Go ahead. Maybe he'll get some answers. Maybe now you'll take your child out of there. You still refuse to take your child out. Still refused. It's good. Summer's out. I would have took him out immediately. I don't need you to seek it because you know you don't have good intentions to our boys anyway, our children anyhow. And they show you this as often as they can. And then what she do? She weaponized the police and called police on this couple. For what? Because of communication? Oh, you can't talk to parents now, but you can call children N-words? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. And see, this is gonna be going to the question I'm gonna ask you, you know. And by the way, yo, if it do cut off again, I hope it don't. And if it do, then I'm gonna try to come back on, but you know, I'm gonna text you or whatever. I'm just giving y'all a heads up because I don't know what's going on right now. I think they're hating on me, but so
Maybe they like your title.
But it's like you said though, Cassidra. Yeah, I know, right? And
we gonna keep doing us though.
This family is like sitting here like shocked, like, oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah, shocked.
Yep.
What are you shocked about?
And
that's crazy. This is crazy.
and
2025.
And before we get to this,
2025.
Now I skipped some stuff too, Cassidra, but now check this one out. Talked about this, I think, before, so I wanted to give you play it while you was here, because yeah, we definitely
a bigoted neighbor, white male, threatening violence against another neighbor, and that neighbor happened to be, well, a minor. According to the latest, prosecutors will not pursue charges. Just put it up full mass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize.
Remember that guy? State attorneys have decided not.
Oh, okay, so you remember that story where the young sister was going around knocking on doors, and then a white dude was online threatening to shoot her and kill her and all that stuff.
They can do that.
She was trying to sell candy or whatever.
Keep knocking at their doors.
Yeah, so they're saying they're not going to charge.
I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing now. I'm just tired of black folk being stupid. Seriously, I don't feel anything. Okay, keep knocking at their doors. Keep going in their neighborhoods. Keep moving next door to them. Keep your children in their schools. And this is the behavior. It's not getting any better. Do we not understand that? Okay, go ahead. I don't feel nothing. I don't feel bad one bit.
All right, so
state attorneys have decided not to prosecute a Florida man who fantasized of shooting a black child on social media after she knocked on his door to sell toys and candy. The girl's mother states, Beyond Shabazz told Atlanta Black Star that prosecutors will not pursue charges against Mr. Tyler Chambers, a Tampa area homeowner who went viral earlier this year.
Let me ask you a question. Since he threatened to shoot their daughter, what did they say about that? Since he can, threaten, what did they say back? That gives you free reign to say what you need to say, right? I'm just saying. Because somebody else had threatened mine. You won't live to see tomorrow. Shoot mine if you want to. I mean, sometimes we have to throw back. Now what the prosecutor don't say? Seriously. We don't say nothing. We don't do nothing. We act, oh, well, we're going to turn the other cheek. I'm not turning nothing. I'm going to turn the other cheek after I do unto you what you did unto me. Period. So my thing is, what did they say back to him when he threatened their baby? That's your child. You don't say nothing? What would you have said for Cass? What would you have said? That was your daughter.
Oh, I ain't gonna say nothing. Nothing. But look, all I'm saying is, look, they said that is okay for you to threaten. They said, why the babies? Because they said it's okay for you to be able to threaten children, and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Ask me why the babies. Ask them why the babies. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. But I know that I don't, my mom, my grandma, my friend, my homeboy, or whatever, like it's still the same thing. But especially, I don't have no children, so but I can imagine if it's my, it'll be the same thing, or it'll be even more. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If you did have a daughter. Sometimes you gotta speak up.
But that brings us to the topic of today. And this is my question, and this is my question for anybody listening. What's up, Rob? Appreciate you for coming through. And Raw and Matron, y'all can answer this in the chat. But consider so to the question and the topic that we got here today, you know what I'm saying? So this topic about were we prisoners or were we slaves? Like, what do you think about that?
I hear so much right now about us being indigenous and, us denying our history. And I think because we don't know our history, we have so many different stories, but Black folk are the only people that deny there. I never hear the Jews denying the Holocaust, which didn't happen. I never hear, the Indians denying their history. I never hear anybody denying their history but Black people. And it's almost like we've forgotten our history. We've forgotten who we are. So we just pick up on every little bit of whatever somebody tells us. We pick it up and run. People don't understand. The Indians back in the day didn't even like Black people. They was capturing slaves back in the day. They was chopping their heads off. They was doing all sorts of things because they was working for the masters, right? And people sit up there and they're so proud to say they're Indians. I would never be proud to be an Indian. They didn't even like Black people. And don't even look at them today. They still don't like you. And you guys are so proud. We are just the proudest people to bond with people that don't even like you. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I know I get it. There are some, because my grandfather was Cherokee. I do get it. I get it, right? But my dad wasn't, my mom, was, his daughter. But my thing is, I'm not going to sit up there and deny, because my great grandma, I know where her history is from. She wasn't my dad's side, so I'm not going to sit up here and deny my history because I want to be somebody else. No, my history is my history. And there's proof of it. So all of this, well, and I have a really great friend. She's Indian, and that's what she say her people are. Okay. I don't believe this is, and then you hear stories, well, this is our land. Okay, if that's what you want to believe, that's what you want to believe. You can stay here and go down with the ship, because I'm gonna tell y'all what, we gonna be in a world of trouble. As soon as they get done deporting these brown folk, you think they're not coming at the Black folk? Did you hear Trump the other day? And I'm gonna try to pull it up if I can find it. He already threatened to deport Black folk already, and nobody understood because didn't nobody look up who he was talking about. And I'm gonna try to find it and send it to you. Black folk, I'm telling y'all think that y'all not on his list? He wants an all-white America. And my thing is, let him have an all-white America. Why are we fighting to stay in this country? They have treat you. They don't, every time you look around, one of your babies getting killed by one of them and nothing happens. Then now you're getting hung and nothing happens. Now they're saying suicide. Why are you fighting to stay in a country that really disowns you? Why are you fighting to fight for a country? And we would literally send our babies to fight for a country that hates you, but you're fighting for another country's oil. You're not fighting for peace. You're not fighting for those people. You're not fighting for anything but oil or minerals. We had a 20-year war when they told us it was weapons of mass destruction, right? Come to find out, 20 years later, it was a lie. What the hell? And how many babies died in that Afghanistan war? How many died? A lot of our babies died. And we still proud to send our babies to fight for this racist ass country. And you are fool for sending your child to fight for them. Let them send their children. Let them do something for a change. And I rest with that.
No, I agree with you, and this is why I say, like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we are prisoners of war, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, black people functionally acting very slave-ish. If you don't want to call yourself a slave, you act slave-ish. You know what I'm saying? Where you fight for other people's wars, you stand up for other people's back. It don't matter what side you on. You know what I'm saying? You're pro-America, you're against America. You're fighting for everything but yourself, for your own stuff, to have your own. We fight to be inclusive. Like, I was watching the thing. She was like, "Oh, we fought to vote. We fought to fight in the military. We fought to stand in line at their stores. We fought to." Now imagine if we only fought one fight, which is to take what is ours. You know what I'm saying, and not be disrespected. Be free. Fought that one single war instead of fighting all of these different wars to be a part of something. So that would lead me to think that we started out as prisoners of war, but at some point, maybe it's the programming, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying why it's this way. A lot of us don't want to admit that we are slaves, but anyway, Cassidra, so
I ain't never seen such confusion. I wish we had this much energy.
On our subconscious.
Go ahead.
That would have been nice.
Don't say you was a slave or your ancestors went through slavery. We was prisoners of warfare. Let me tell you the psychological game on our subconscious, bro, on our confidence, on our subconscious, by saying we were slaves, because it gives us this narrative, even if you didn't say it out your mouth and fight back. That's what it's giving, like people like to say. It's giving. Yeah, it's giving. Even that we wrote all that shit was never the case. Even in the Civil War times, Civil rights times, niggas was
hold on, my bad. I don't know. I can't see a crown thing. And maybe it's I don't know. Can you see a crown thing? I don't know.
I don't see anything. Maybe it's on her.
We brainwashed. Yeah, I don't see a crown. He said we're forgotten that we are the only humans, the only ones indigenous to the planet, the only humans. Yeah,
you're right. We are,
and it wasn't just Black Panthers either. Like the way I thought, I'm like, bro, was it only niggas in Detroit, Oakland, LA, New York that had resistance against what we call the system? You know, slavery and all that.
All right, so y'all get the point. So what you think about that? About slavery and prisoners?
Oh Lord, prisoners. What's a prisoner of war? What is that? I'm gonna look that up because I don't know how. I don't know. So I don't know forecast. I don't even know.
Well, it's basically like it's basically pretty much like they kidnapped us, you know what I'm saying? They kidnapped us, then raped us. Like, we went to war, we lost the war, and we ended up working for, like, there. I get the war when people say this. It's like, oh, we wasn't just starting as slaves. Yeah.
A prisoner of war is a person typically is a member of some kind of force, armed force, who was captured by the enemy during an armed conflict and is held by belligerent power. So, were we in a war with them at the time? Prisoners of war we were minding our business. They decided to come over there and get some free people, free help, free laborers. So they come to get you. And now you say you was not slaves, we was prisoners of war. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Sometimes we hurt our own selves by being so smart or lack of, or not. We say stuff that makes no sense. And then we hop on the bandwagon and everybody starts saying, oh, we were prisoner of war. Just like they changed the books in Florida and said we were servants. There's a big difference in a slave and a servant. Servant got to go home at night. Servant got to, at least after 7 years they were free. That's not what happened to slaves. We were slaves for 400 years and counting. Still, look at the prison system.
Yeah,
They're
it's
still
kind of hard.
slaves. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just about to say it's kind of hard to say that, because we fight to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like, we fight to be a part of the system. You know what I mean? And slavery is like 400 years. It's hard to be like, like at some point it's kind of slave-ish when you start being like the mentality of Black people and like kind of how cowardly we get and all of this stuff. So I definitely feel what you're saying,
We've forgotten our history. We've forgotten. But I think right now people are waking up to the history. But it's hard when you were not taught, even in their schools, they don't talk about slavery. So we were not taught about slavery. They are not teaching you anything about slavery. It's called history, the history books, history lesson, but they never talked about us being slaves. We didn't even talk about Black history in my high school. It was all the way in the back of the book, one little couple pages, okay, that we never got to. They never talked about slavery. But my thing is, why are we so apt, so ready to believe, we believe anything and everything, every phase, every fad that come, every phase that come. So we're going to negate our ancestors that died on the way here, millions that died on the way to the Americas. We're going to forget about them, the ancestors that died on the way. That's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. So we want to be somebody.
Now,
We want to be people that don't even like us. Go ahead.
No, yeah. And so I'm gonna play a little bit of this, right? And and then I want to see what you want to say because I'm gonna play something else.
I hate to ask this question because how many of you who are African Americans, how many of you know?
Is he Black?
Yeah.
The African
with a white mom
country.
Okay. He's Black with a white somebody.
Yeah, I don't know his parents.
Okay. He's a hybrid. Go ahead.
Your ancestors were born, except my daughter.
Not one hand went up.
Not one hand went up. I asked this question of 500 whites. How many of you know the city was teaching at a university, a white university? It's at Sacramento. Every hand went up. They knew not only the country from which not only the city, but the borough from which the ancestors. Now, how come they know and none of you know? Here's the reason why I am different. The reason is that these South Carolina and North Carolina plantation owners went to Germany to find out how they could control our fathers and mothers on the plantation, because they were getting out of hand. They were burning the houses down. They were killing white folks. They were doing everything negative about being in captivity. They were never slaves. They were prisoners of war, the War of 1591. So what happened was they sought the advice of an expert in high history. Now, his name was Johann Blumenbach, and he was the head of Department of History at the University of Göttingen in Germany. And how many of you know this? I know you was taught this in college and everything, all you college folks. Well, when they sought his advice, they said, do they know that they're the Shanghai people? So the plantation owners who traveled over there to seek his advice said, well, of course they know that they come from the great Shanghai Empire. Well, that's your problem. You can't let them know that they came from greatness, from grandeur, from beauty, from sophistication. You'll never be able to control them. So the plantation owner said, well, how can we prevent it? I mean, the mothers and the fathers would tell the children, say, you came from Timbuktu and you came from the city of Jeanne, and that's where we were born. And then the Europeans came over and invaded us in 1591 and marched us through the seas to the waiting ship. Man, you can't allow them to teach that to their children. They said, well, how you want to stop it? Here's how you do it. Here's why you don't know where you're from. Boombox said, what you do, as soon as the boatload arrives, take the babies out the mama's arms. Send the parents to a distant plantation and work them to death and raise the children to believe they came from a jungle. They won't know the difference.
That's right.
How would they know?
That's right.
Their parents are gone. Now, here's the difference.
All right, so what you think about that, Cassidra?
What do I think about that coming from? I don't know. I was just trying to read up on what he was, the War of 1591. And it talks about the Moroccans' invasion of, I don't know. I don't know much about that. But I'd be more than willing to read about it. I don't know much about it. But I know that we were, I know that we were kings and queens. We know that. We all know. We know that part, right? But so I don't know. I just I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. What he was talking about. So I can't really comment on that. Do you know much about that?
I'll say this, because well, it was not just that. They would been doing the same thing throughout since they've been here. You know what I'm saying? Since however they got here, whoever they are, they've been doing the same thing, right? And as ones go to the 1400s, you know what I'm saying? And but it is true, you know what I'm saying, that you have to keep us ignorant about our history and that we have no other use but to serve another group of people, you know what I'm saying? But I do think that, to be honest with you, there is some kind of psychological issue that Black people have that might even predate them, to where we have this love or something like that, to where we always welcome a stranger to your house, but you can't do that, you know. I think that it's some kind of lesson that we have to learn, that you cannot let just anybody into your house, you know what I'm saying, because you're going to be a slave, you know what I'm saying, and I get that people like, I understand why people say there was wars, there was not wars, you know what I'm saying. There was people that got tricked, they didn't just come in and just killing everybody, you know what I'm saying. You got, like, they used different tactics. They came in, like, first they tried to come in like mercenaries, and then use like white girls, of course, and then they try to go to war, and then when war doesn't work, then they send in will work with them. And so that's the thing, they separated the children from the father, so you don't even know where you come from. And just like, they try to be like the Irish was slaves, but you ask them, like, they know they know where they come from. If we black person, we just say Africa, but Africa is a huge place, and most of us can't tell you, and that's done on purpose to keep us ignorant. Will be slaves, after they have kidnapped us. But yes, Black people have always fought them and fought back, and have continued to do that, but I'm sorry, and I'm gonna go through a little bit of now check this is so you ever heard of this thing called drapetomania? It was considered an illness to be it was considered a mental illness to
try to
slavery,
wonder what
to try to be free as a Black person.
Yeah. That must be what we suffering with today, huh?
That's what I'm trying to say. We got a mental illness like that. Is I know that we don't want to admit it, but like even the way that the system is set up today, mad about a lot of this stuff, like the scams that they got going on, like that they take our tax money, like that we can't even invest it in our, and then when we do something, they sue that we fight for to have equality in the first place, and they just use it against you. That's why you be like, you fight for a damn hate crime law. Guess who's gonna get charged with the
Exactly.
you, because they can do whatever they want to.
Yep.
It's not about right and wrong. It's about winning and not winning. It's about I have and I control or I don't control, you know. So anyway. So listen to this. So Drake the Mania.
Even have it.
And I'm gonna show you why
in the news.
That at some point it graduated to being slaves.
And had a disease. How are the folks gonna just why are they running away? We treating them so good. Why we doing everything we can for them? Why are they running away? And they came up with a disease of running away. Their scientists, Legacies, came up with a disease of running away called drapetomania. Running away.
It's like when other Negroes call us racist for what we say.
Exactly.
They suffer from drapetomania.
Yeah.
They blame us. That's what they say we got.
The insidious thing about the disease is it takes agency from the and what I mean by that is, so supposedly, going by their explanation, when we ran on the railroad, it's because we were ill. We popped up with a virus or something. So we're not doing it because we want to. We're not doing it because we thought that we were sick of injustice. There's something wrong with us. Something wrong with us. We diagnosed in the Time magazine of slavery called the Bowles Review. And it says an article called Diseases and Peculiarities of Negroes. And so drapetomania is diagnosed by a man named Dr. Samuel Cartwright. He came up with a fake disease, dysesthesia ethiopica, or hebetude of the mind, and it does not want to work.
So basically, when we lazy, you know what I'm saying? When they be like, oh, you don't do this and do that, you're lazy. That's a disease for us. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have this mentality, right? Or like the sister was saying at the beginning, where they have all of these black people working their arms, like their muscles off the bone, like literally work till death. You know what I'm saying? And when you see somebody that stands up and they realize that they have to, like, you got to understand one thing, realize that it was easier to enslave children than people who had known freedom before, because you can tell and convince a child of anything, you know. So all you have to do is take the biggest, strongest dude, you know what I'm saying, and make an example out of him in front of everybody. To be honest with you, what they used to do is like rape the dude, you know what I'm saying? And in modern times, you have still in effect Malcolm X get taken out, and even to this day, like brothers be like, why would I stand up for the black community when they just gonna take you out like Malcolm X, when that was like 60 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Not realizing that you're standing up for yourself. But it's crazy to stand up for yourself. If I was to, I don't care, I'm not gonna stand up for something that's not for me, for like every other group, then they'd be like, oh, it's something wrong with you. This dude must got drapetomania. Like I must do, you know. But we must be feeble in the mind, Sidra. That's what they've been trying to tell us. So, and then, and you know, of course, you can jump. So, I want you, right, because this goes for everybody. Was the black people who be like, "Oh, I'm American," and the like, we have never been citizens. And I tried to tell people before that we are not citizens. We're not even. They use projection. They call us not the persons when really they're not human, you know. So Matron said it suits their power structure to declare as ill work for them, and then they can be like, well, this person goes to crime, you know what I'm saying, when really they are the masters of war and destruction. And but if we were as violent as they say, I wish we were, because then we would get to it. So of course, you know about Dred Scott and all of this, right? But this goes to what we're talking about here, right? Is we not? I'm gonna let a white boy say it.
2 clauses in the Constitution which speak directly and specifically to the Negro race as a separate class of persons.
And you notice in every single one of their law, they said persons with it. They don't be like, oh, black this and no what. They say persons. They use terminology. Now, are you a person according to them, or are you a slave, right? Or right? Because in prisoners of war, like, you know, they can eventually become citizens and stuff like that, right? So
this is why
there are 2 clauses in the Constitution which point directly and specifically to the Negro race as a separate.
What you say?
So this is why they can murder you and get away with it.
There you go. Why can the rules and the laws be different for you? And because first of all, they can do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a sheep asking the lion, "Why would you eat me?"
But there are 2 clauses in the Constitution which point directly and specifically to the Negro race as a separate class of persons and show clearly that they were not regarded as a portion of the people or citizens of the government then formed. You don't see this word anymore. It doesn't exist in law. You only see this word. And the reason why is because this is all based on the 14th Amendment. And now everything is based off the 14th Amendment. So free white person or white people have nothing to do with literally the United States Code, the California Vehicle Code, nothing. Street signs and speed limit signs have nothing to do with white people.
Nope, nothing. None of it.
The entire country is completely and utterly pure 100% racism. And it's so racist and it's so intensely racist that nobody even knows it.
So
well, we know
and
it.
If you don't understand, like, so if you don't even understand what he's saying, right, you know, you don't have to have a law passed, or like Malcolm X asked the question, what kind of citizen needs a voting rights act? And like, a citizen can vote, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It's not, you know, I let a white dude say it, but I got a black dude here, you know what I'm saying?
Don't they have to vote on that every so many years? Don't they have to renew the voters thing every 2 years or every so many years?
Last I heard it was.
So if we're citizens, why you got to do that?
It was like every 25, from what I'm just saying.
So if we're citizens, why you got to do that?
I understand it was like the every 25 years. So is the Dred Scott case still in effect? You know, the Dred Scott case where no Negro has a right or whatever that they got to respect or whatever.
Yep, that still stands.
So
today.
Is that still in effect?
That still stands today. They never changed it. Yeah. They never changed it. And they ain't going to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let this brother. Yeah, why would they? It's be stupid on that part. So look, check this out, right? I'm gonna let the brother say it this time.
Oh Lord!
If y'all can hear it. Well, he's like kind of a court thing.
I'm speaking from African American. I think that we need to revisit the 14th Amendment because I feel that why should we have to have memory to to be a citizen in this country. And because whites are natural citizens without an amendment. So our legal system is a reflection of that right there. So if we really want to have real serious reform, let's go back and readdress this 14th Amendment and get us off of immigration status.
So he's trying to say that black people are still on, and it's not that we're on immigration status. You're not necessarily that. You know what I'm saying? What you got to understand that black people is considered in the business of America, the business of the corporation of America. We are considered slave labor class of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, if you was to leave right now, then they're gonna have like, I mean, in 5 months it'd probably be another transatlantic slave trade if we don't smarten up, because they're gonna come back to try to get you, right? So in you are not no citizen, you're not no American. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you call it foundational or not. You know what I'm saying? But um you are literally in the slave class. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how Europeans worked it, you know. And so yeah, there is no reform there, my brother. So oh, y'all couldn't hear that. Well, that was too low. I'm sorry.
It was very low.
But anyway, consider it. Do you? Yeah, it was too low. But he was just basically just saying the same thing the white dude said.
Okay.
And I don't need to play this. This was a senator who was saying that the Dred Scott case was still on the books. If you want,
it's absolutely.
We don't have to play it, but if you want me to play it,
I mean, it's up to you. But it's still on the books. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Even as far as, remember Virginia, you know, they say it's not on the books, but you have to understand a lot of the stuff that they say that's off the books, they still go by it. May not be on the books, but it's still there. Like when they said about the white woman murdering the black babies and not being brought up on charges, they do that now. So what's the difference? They say, oh, that was a law way back in the day, but they still go by that stuff. Mm-hmm. Just like if they give you a hate crime bill, just like they gave you the civil rights bill, they don't use it for us. They use it for everybody else. And so we gave you a civil rights bill, but you don't. When the last time you used it for us? You don't. You use it for everybody else that you bought in this country. Give you a hate crime bill, they're gonna use it for everybody but you.
Yeah. And look, and so I ain't gonna play that one. But I just put it in there, right? Because then people will be like, well, you know, it was the 14th Amendment, you know what I'm saying, which did whatever. So I'm not, okay, yeah. So if, all right, I'll play it this way. All right, so the 14th Amendment didn't help black people.
Nope.
Let's see what it says.
You don't go about none of that stuff for us. None of it.
All right, so it says, while the 14th Amendment was a crucial step towards granting citizenship and equal protection under the law to formerly enslave people, so slaves, you know, pretty much, it faced significant limitations and wasn't fully effective in protecting black people from discrimination and violence. All right, so they would say this is the thing, but won't tell you is, so if you ask it, have more companies, like private companies, like white people, 14th Amendment than black. Yes, there is evidence. See, they won't tell you this part. You will actually have to just look it up and see, right? So yes, there is evidence suggesting that corporations have been involved in more lawsuits under the 14th Amendment than black individuals, right? So how, I ain't gonna click on none of this stuff. American corporations had a hidden civil rights, right? How the 14th Amendment made corporations into people. So they are more persons than you are. And so it was ratified after the Civil War and intended to, which it was not intended to do that. So pretty much I had to. So it's important to understand that the context and implications of these numbers while corporations have frequently invoked the 14th Amendment. I think like only like a handful of black people in history have used the 14th Amendment.
We won't
But
even
like
use
corporations
it
do this all the time. That's what makes a corporation.
We could use
That's
it
what
now,
makes them
but
an
don't use it.
entity.
We could use it now and won't use it.
Yeah.
13th, 14th.
But
So
that's
you're
what
not
makes
even supposed to look like you've been in slavery, and we still look like we've been in slavery. Look at the school. Look, just look at black folk
but see,
compared to them. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, to see, this is the thing, like, this is why you can't necessarily, like, if I have a company or whatever, you can't sue me because my company that you're suing, because your company is actually more of a person in American law than you are, you know. And then also, if you look up stuff like this, where slaughterhouse cases, they basically gutted the civil rights case, and these ones is really short, because I want you to understand, right? Because like, yo, when did they overturn all of these things? They didn't, you know. And what you have to understand is, the 14th Amendment is a federal thing, but that's why they be like states' rights and all this nonsense, because the federal right can't supersede that, you know. So basically what the state says is kind of goes, you know. It's
everybody in every state is
this
different.
one is
They
like
have their
kind of
different
messing up now.
laws.
They're gonna play. And that's why it's not like just big law for each state. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the states have the same laws.
Yeah, and they don't. And this is why one state can get away with one thing and another state has a law for something else. So my thing is, why are all the laws not the same in everywhere you go? Why is it, if you go to Kansas is this, and if you go to Missouri is this, if you go to all white is this, and if you go to all black is this? What is that? A law is a law is a law. Why is it so different in every state? And they'll tell you. Because we can compare, we can see what happens in one state, and then you can see what happens when it's an all-white state. It's totally different. You get different charges and different laws and different everything. It's different.
Yeah. And look here, it says how the slaughterhouse case is gutted. I'll play just a second of this so you can see what I'm saying. Damn. Of course, it's gonna start down, but let's see. Yeah, pop-ups and everything. What's going on? All right, here we go. Hopefully it play. I don't know.
However, Foner also emphasizes that these gains were met with fierce resistance. Of 1873 were among the first significant. The slaughterhouse cases of 1873 were among the first significant rulings that narrowed the scope of the 14th Amendment. It ruled that the Privileges and Immunities Clause of the 14th Amendment protected only the rights associated with federal citizenship, not state citizenship. This decision effectively limited the amendment's ability to shield African Americans from discriminatory state laws. Doris Kearns Goodwin, in her book The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln, discusses the broader political
And he wasn't a
context of
genius, by the way.
Reconstruction amendments and the challenges they faced.
None of them.
Goodwin, reluctance of many in the federal government to fully commit to the radical changes required to ensure.
So y'all get it, and Matrix.
Yeah, I was reading.
Laws are different because they only wanted to come together for two reasons: economic and anti-blackness. Yeah.
Yep, true. That's why if you go to an all-black state, the laws are totally different, and you get the time. Go to
like,
South Dakota and North Dakota, you got different laws, different rules, different, different everything. You get less time, you know, if you're white, of course. You know, you get manslaughter instead of murder. You know what I'm saying? But somebody died, just like the white man that killed his wife on camera. And what did he get? Manslaughter? He didn't even get murder charges, did he? The one whose wife was black and he spit on her after he shot her, what, 3-4 times? And got what, manslaughter? Didn't he get manslaughter or something like that? He didn't get murder. Man, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah,
black folks killing somebody, you can automatically, just like the Anthony young boy, the young guy, he got murder charges, right? Not, you know, no self-defense. He didn't get any of that. Murder. They're gonna try to hang that young man.
Yeah, and look, and by the way, like, and anti-blackness is like one of their biggest economic things. You know what I'm saying? They make the most money off of anti-blackness. You know,
Yes,
and then you have this would kind of explain what you were saying, Cassidra. This is where it kind of goes back to what their laws from our point of view.
In the aftermath of the Civil War and with the end of slavery, the congressional drafters of the 14th Amendment sought to protect the privileges and immunities of all American citizens and to guarantee them due process and the equal protection of the laws. Historians now mostly agree that shortly after the amendment's ratification, the Supreme Court gutted its intended protections, first in the slaughterhouse cases, then again 3 years later in United States versus Cruikshank. The states had ratified the 14th Amendment in 1868, and Congress had passed an Enforcement Act 2 years later. Among other things, white supremacists murdered. The Colfax Massacre, one of the worst episodes of racist violence in post-Civil War America, occurred when a group of white supremacists murdered an estimated 150 black militia members. The United States indicted William Cruikshank and others for harming victims Levi Nelson and Alexander Tillman in the lawful exercise and enjoyment of their lawful rights and privileges. The indictments repeated the Enforcement Act's language in alleging that Cruikshank violated the act. The federal jury convicted Cruikshank, who then moved to arrest or set aside his conviction. The circuit court judges for the District of Louisiana, where the trial occurred,
so pretty much they ain't finished
to the United States.
Pretty much when it went to the Supreme Court, he pretty much got off because they was just killing these.
Exactly. I mean, just like look at the Cowboys, look at the June 6th thing. You know, that dude is working with the DOJ now. He was with the rioters, right? So now he pardoned all of them, you know, but if it had been black, you think they would have got pardoned? Their asses would have rotted.
So, and that goes back because I want you to watch this one, and then I'm gonna play another. And I want to hear what you got to say about that, Cassidra. Now, goes back to what we were saying about drapetomania and the psychological issues that we have as Black people, you know.
Black mental health matters. Yes, I said Black specifically because at one point, wanting to escape slavery was deemed. I'm Alex, and I'll explain that to you. Plus, I'll tell you what you can do right now to address your own mental well-being. Okay, so this racist mental illness was called mania. Yes, drapetomania. A man by the name of Dr. Samuel Cartwright published this in a report back in 1851. It was a report called The Disease and Peculiarities of the Negro. He believed that it was God's will for the Negro to be bent at the knee and subservient. Cartwright's solution was that enslavers treat slaves badly so that they know their place and know that they're subhuman, but not too badly because you don't want them revolting and being unmotivated. Think about it. This was a man paid to publish this in a scientific journal that people believed. It was mostly North, but it was still in publication well into the 1900s. So you can see that racism was ingrained in Western medicine and even mental health for centuries. We talk about that in a big podcast. All
right, so you hear about that. Now listen to this, Cassidra. I want to hear what you got to say about this brother here.
Thing that you wish you would have
let's see. I can't start up.
Learned when you were 14, 15 years old to help you avoid this sentence.
To ask for help. I wish I could have asked for help when I was 14 or 15 years old. I wish I had the ability to ask for help. Ask somebody, can you please help me? that I'm going through. I needed some guidance. I never played organized sports in a day in my life. I never had. My father was a drug head. My mother was a drug head. My grandmother was an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? So I never had a stable home.
What's one thing that you wish you would have learned?
So what you think about? Because you talked about that's another form of the slavery too. Like they like these young brothers who don't know any better, who's not in a position to be doing something. Like they be in these horrible positions, and then they which is considered a crime and be locked up, which is like we have a term for a school to prison pipeline. That's how often that our young people
know that,
end up
and
in
we
these
still let
situations where
them
then they turn into what
we know that, and we still allow them to educate our babies. We still put them in put our babies in their schools, knowing the disasters, seeing the disasters, because we see the schools, we see what's being produced. We don't have sense enough to take your children out of their schools and educate your own, and tear down that educational system and rebuild your own. We don't have sense enough to do that, because it's a disaster in those schools. Got them wearing dresses and everything else. It's a mess. But we're okay with that, because white folk, it's got to be right if they doing it. It's got to be right. Are we that brain dead that we don't see what's going on with our babies? And then every day you hearing they did something to your baby, and we still don't have an issue with it. We'll go up there and argue with the teacher. What you arguing? You can't win. You can't win. Your baby had no business there in the first place. And then if we take our babies out, then they're going to change the law for something else. Don't call our schools schools. We're not going to call them schools. We're going to call them learning centers or something. Don't even call them schools. So therefore, they can't impact you. The laws can't impact our schools. But we have to do something. You have to start somewhere, else this will continue to happen. Prison to pipe, prison, school to prison. We know that. And we could look at it's a small village in these black folk in these jails, prisons. You can have a whole black community with all those black folk. What, over 2 million black folk? 2 or 3 million black folk now in prisons? That's a lot of people. That's a lot. That's a small city. You still got people in jail from the 80s, 82 and 85 with the crack epidemic. Still in jail. Why? Who had bags of marijuana? Remember back in the day, bags of marijuana? Now it's legal. You still got them in jail. Make it make sense. Oh, just leave them there. All this time. Why would you like somebody else for 50 years? For what? Poverty and crime can be curbed by educating them and giving them jobs. When you're working 40 and 50 hours a week, you ain't got time to rob nothing, because you're working. You're taking care of your family. Just like these kids in our neighborhoods, all the YMCAs, all the extra curriculum is shut down. But going to white neighborhoods, they got baseball, they had summer baseball, they had some of this and some of that, some of this, some of that program. Did they have it in black neighborhoods? No. Why? Shut it all down. Let's build another prison in Georgia, and we're going to send them right there. Let's send them to Ecuador, El Salvador, wherever the hell they're sending them now. This is crazy. But we don't see this, do we? And we want to fight to stay in a country that hates you. That don't make no sense to me. It don't. It makes no sense, because we're so used to this country. We're so used to the treatment. We don't ever want to get up and move. But you have black folk moving out of America every day, a lot more than it used to be. But I rest.
It's facts. It's facts. And you know what we fought to be beside, Cassidra? I want to show you what we fought to be beside.
We just seen him. That crack up.
Fight you and me for saying this is what we was trying to get though this whole time.
Check this videos out.
Okay, you know the propaganda trend? I am convinced that one of the biggest pieces of propaganda that we have bought into as a society is how often I remember a couple of years ago, there was a lady on this app who went viral because she talked about how she only gives her kids a bath twice a week. And it
oh my God.
headlines, the unsanitary mom, like that's insane, and that is 100% propaganda from like soap companies, or I don't even know.
Oh my God.
Companies.
But I just think it's how everyone's like anti-AI because it's wasting water, and yet they're like determined to give their kids a bath every day. I am talking about children under the age of
Oh
8.
my
Okay,
God.
once they're over 8, different, I will say.
Oh.
But
These are
like
filthy.
baby
They are so
toddlers do
filthy. They are so filthy.
telling you
We
I'm so
Oh my God.
fought
They,
for this, Cassandra. What you talk about? They filthy. This is what we fought for.
we fought for non-human people to be around them, and now we hate our own to marry theirs, or to marry people that don't even believe in bathing. Can you imagine? And you doing all kind of stuff with that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that right there. All that filth. God. You're
Now, you know
dying to
what,
be with
Cassandra?
somebody
We're
who
gonna leave
take
it off
fast.
on
Woo. That's
we're gonna leave it
they are filthy.
off on so we're gonna leave it off on some brothers who deal with their right. So now check this out. Now this brother had to pop some crackers, as y'all call them, peckerwoods, whatever you want to
Some crackers.
right, to protect himself. And so he got released. Yeah, some crackers. Yeah. So
We're going to start with some new reaction from Stephen Long. And his family office asked a judge to drop the first-degree murder charge against him. Now, he was accused of killing 2 brothers on I-25 near 6th Avenue last fall during a road rage incident.
Yeah, acting in self-defense. Fox 31's Greg Nieto was there moments after an ankle monitor was actually removed from his leg. He has the details for us live here at 9. Greg.
Jeremy, a family spokesperson, tells us right there on the jail steps that this case was not won in the courtroom, but the community.
Months after a deadly confrontation shuts down northbound I-25 at 8th Avenue. Friends, family, and members of the Denver judge welcome Stefan Long after officially having his ankle monitor removed at the downtown Denver jail, a day after the Denver DA murder charge against the 25-year-old.
First and foremost, I want to give all glory to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, none of this.
Last year, prosecutors say Long was responsible for the deaths of 21-year-old Blake Lucas and Lucas's 22-year-old.
That phase right here, Cassandra.
We can
It's
never
trouble.
defend ourselves. We're supposed to allow these demon children to just do whatever. Just like Anthony, they were saying the dude was bullying him or whatever. So he was actually supposed to stand there and let those 200-pound brothers, 200-pound each, jump him. Really? And he wasn't supposed to do nothing? Shit. Fight, baby. Fight to the death. But he shouldn't have been charged. So why is it when one of them do something to us, we fight back and go to jail? Just like Ozone with that police officer. The police officer was known to be a criminal and you know, harassing people, right? So he approached Ozone, you know, and died. So now Ozone got what, 30 years? They tried to give him the death penalty, but they couldn't. Why is he even in jail when the police approached him? I'm so sick of their system. We already know when we get in their system, we can't win. That dude shouldn't have never went to jail in the first place. They wanted that family to spend some kind of money. Find an attorney, getting an attorney, a good attorney to get him off. Because you know he had to pay some money to get off, right? You ain't gonna just get no court-appointed attorney. So you got to spend some money. So you're gonna be impacted some kind of way dealing with them. Super, it's so crazy. We don't call them out for their BS. We don't call them out for their BS. We don't call them out for their injustice system. I'm almost scared for Anthony to even go to the trial, have a trial in this country. Did he? Just like you did. I'm not agreeing what he did, but who taught him? Where's the person that taught him? Where's the person that recruited him? Where's all those other men that was at his house at those parties? Where are they? This is stupid. Their justice system. Why are we even having a system when they don't get called out for nothing? They can literally shoot you in the back of your head, and it's on camera, and walk and say it's justifiable. like they did that. What was the guy from Nigeria? And he was, the officer told, whatever happened, they was running. He ran, they chased him down and literally got on his back and literally shot him in his head. His friend was sat there and watched it. And it was justifiable. How was it justifiable? The dude was on his back. He was on the ground. See what I'm saying? This is their system, though. We don't need to be in their system. They don't ever hold themselves accountable. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3, murdered 2, and walked. Not served a day in jail. Really? I rest.
Yeah. And check. Yeah. No, yeah, because I'm gonna show you, because this is what
A
he
man
just did
previously
just now.
charged with murder in a deadly shooting in Denver is now suing the city and 2 police officers. Stefan
right.
Long had always maintained he acted in self-defense. In this new lawsuit, he claims he was punished for being black. 9 News with some details of the suit. Hey, Rhea.
Yeah, this lawsuit isn't just about one man's arrest. It's about what he says is a pattern in Denver's justice
That's right.
system.
Yeah.
Stefan, he never would have been charged. 4 months in jail, 10 months on house arrest, isolated from his wife and kids. In a lawsuit filed this week, Stefan Long says he endured all of that just because of the color of his skin. The lawsuit centers around a June 2023 road rage incident on I-25 by 2 men. They then got out of their car and began assaulting him through his open window. Long ended up shooting and killing the 2 men after he said he feared for his life and had no escape. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and held for more than a year. Last summer, the final charges were dropped. The Denver DA's evidence showed a strong and valid self-defense claim under Colorado law. Now Long is suing the city and 2 Denver police officers.
He needs to sue the DA.
Claiming they amounts withheld key context and pushed for charges based.
He needs to sue the man that bought the charges. What, the DA that bought the charges? Sue him too. The one that bought the charges against him. He should have never went to jail. We can never defend ourselves. Why? So he was supposed to take that whooping from them white dudes, right? He's supposed to let them beat him and kill him. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Held key context and pushed for charges based on racial bias. It also highlights what Long calls a double standard, comparing his case to Jack Reed, a white man who fatally shot a 12-year-old and wasn't charged. 11 city council members called out the disparity last year. In a statement, Long said this whole thing.
We heard that shot a 12-year-old.
Ain't that something? And go and walked.
A trauma that tore through every
And
corner of our lives. And while he's home now, quote, nothing will give us back the time we lost.
That's right.
Long's lawsuit also points to Denver's own data showing that Black residents are more likely to be arrested or cases dismissed. The city attorney's office said they had no comment on the lawsuit.
Of course they don't.
No comment.
I hope they. But my thing is, how you gonna win a lawsuit in their justice system? Why is it that it has to be in America's justice system? Why you couldn't take it to the world court? Even with that, how do you win? You're still in their system. How do you win? But I'm glad that he brought some charges up. I'm glad he did that. But they know their system, just like we know the police department. Since 2006, the KKK has been infiltrated. The police department has been infiltrated by the KKK. FBI told us, but what did the FBI do about it? Absolutely nothing. Up until 2025, still has not done anything about it. But we know they're there. We know. We see the little marks on their arms. We see the little tattoos, the little upside down crosses, and all this stuff showing us that they're KKK members. We know that. But they still don't clean house because you got some on the FBI. That's why they ain't gonna tell on themselves. You got some on the judges' benches, police department, doctors, lawyers, all of them, Indian chiefs. I'm just saying, it's time for us to hold them accountable. They come at you, you do what you have to do. Fight, you live to fight the case in court. Go ahead.
Yeah. And to wrap it up though, Cassidra, I just gotta show you this. I got a new one for you. You live to fight another day. They might not though. The white boy and called him the N-word, and he said, "Yo, that word is offensive. Don't use it." And then he said N-word right to his face, or he said nigga. So that's what the white.
Now he got to get beat down.
Now he got to catch him.
Hit the ones that's got your arm. Hit them. Hit all of them. Every last one of them. Hit pow, pow, pow. Every last one of them. Just hit all of them. You holding me? Bow. That's self-defense. Bow. What you touching me for?
Bow. She might have had a knife or something. I don't know what she got.
Hey, you holding my arm, you gonna get some too. Bow.
And he had a
what was that? A hammer?
And he showed restraint. It looked like he had a hammer.
It looked like a
in his hand.
Extra hammer.
He didn't use the hammer, but
I thought he used the hammer. Dang.
But did you?
I want to see that again.
That was just a fist. That was the regular hammer. Then he used the other hammer.
The hammer.
I'll play it one time. He had a hammer. And the offhand.
I'd have hit all of them with that hammer. I'd hit all of them. I'd have hit that one, and that one. Bam, boom, bop. Bam, boom, bop.
So a little bit quiet.
Love it. I love
all right, hold on. One more time, and then we will get out of here.
I can see it all day.
Don't use it, bro.
He should have knocked all his teeth out.
He probably did. So you know how close he came to missing a piece of his skull?
Oh man. I'm mad because he didn't use the hammer. I'm mad because he didn't use it.
And I'm telling you right now,
I know.
So they got their hands on him. But they got their hands on him, but they didn't say nothing when he was up. See, this is what bothers me. When they see that they're antagonizing us and calling us names, nobody says anything. But as soon as you pop one of them, here they come. Oh, no. And then you want to want to grab him. He should have hit both of them. Bow for you and bow for you for him touching me. Self-defense, why are you touching me? I'm tired. This is crazy. They ain't no business touching on him. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what happened when you're no longer a slave. You know what I'm saying? You do what you got to do. So, but anyway, Cassidra, what you think about this whole conversation today? What's your thoughts about?
Hey, I think it's a good conversation. I think it was a good conversation. I still do believe that we have lost our history, and I knew about the Portuguese and the Spaniards and all that. Know about all that, right? And how they separated us, and the children from the adults and stuff. And most of the adults were killed. So that's what they're doing now. They're separating our kids, and and they're teaching them all kind of stuff in these schools. And we allow it, knowing where they're going with it. But we allow it. That's the sad part about it. We don't ever hold them accountable. They don't hold themselves accountable. But they'll hold you accountable, and will hold us accountable. But we never can, really make any real changes because we're still in their system. But this was a good show, though. I think it was informative. And I hear what they were saying about the servant thing, but I can't deny my history. You can say, they were indigenous, and whatever, but it's too much other proof also. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I look at both sides and I say, okay, both sides got their information from white folk, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and people say, oh, you can't believe them, but they gave you both sides. They told you were indigenous, and then they told you were servants, and now they're telling you were slave. So where'd you get all that information from them? All of it came from them. We won't ever know until when, if we ever find out. But it's a lot. And I go by, Hebrews to Negroes, where he talked about, where the beginning came from. Ron Dalton, I read, I saw the movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a history fanatic. So my thing is, proof is in the pudding. You can see it. So, but I rest with that.
No, yeah, I definitely appreciate you, and the thing is right, like, listen, like, we did fight back, right? And yeah, we got kidnapped, we got tricked, you know what I'm saying? We got our kindness taken for weakness and all of that stuff.
That's who we are.
You know what I'm saying?
We always get to show the
even if all of that is
we always get to
like
show
trying to be so nice.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me interrupt. Go ahead,
No, you are. No, you good. You good. And so we always, at some point though, it came to a point where it is a bit slavish. You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, oh well, we got to put our because this time this dude is the worst one that we'll ever see, and you know what I'm saying? When the truth is, if you look at all of them, like in the context of like the history of like crackers, you know what I'm saying? Like they're all like kind of sick. They're sick, not kind of sick. They are sick, right? And for us to constantly try to fit into somebody else, to try to humble ourselves, to let go of our wants and dreams and the respect that we deserve, that starts getting
Forecast, you still there? Can't hear you. Forecast, you there? Can you guys hear Forecast at all? Let me text him. I don't think. Can you guys hear him? Oh wow, he's gone. Well, let me see. Trying to see if he's texting me now. Okay, he's texting me now. Okay, he got kicked out. Okay. Well, you guys, hope you guys are enjoying. We try to come on and be as as educational as we can, because we know that our history has been stolen, and we can go so many routes with this. We can go to the left and say we were servants. We can go to the right and say we were Indians. We can go and say we're, but who knows the truth? The information that we're getting it from, they all white folk. You know what I'm saying? So we getting the slave part from the white folk, we getting the Indian part from them, we getting the servant part from them. But I just hope that we're here saying something that'll help us to understand who we really are and what the assignment is, and just for us to stay on code. I think for I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. I think he'll have to. Oh, he said he's coming back now. Okay, he's coming back now. But I hope that we are here to learn. Whether you believe that you're a servant or you believe that you were Indian, and and it's okay. We're not going to agree on everything, but you know what you know, and you stand on what you believe in. And you stand on what you were taught, and everybody, was taught something different. But who really knows? Who really knows? Not gonna agree on everything. There you go. And now you have it. Okay, I don't hear the echo anymore.
Yeah.
You back? Okay, cool. I was just, letting them know that.
I got it.
Yeah, but go ahead before you get cut off again.
Yeah. I'm about to say, yeah, it's a wrap, y'all. That's just my cue right there. So I appreciate y'all listening. Shouts out to Raw in the building. Shouts out to Matron. I appreciate you for coming through.
Yes.
There's something going on like every other week, Cassidra. So that just means we on the right track. So you know what I'm saying? We ain't slaves no more. Nah,
It's gonna be
until
all
we
right.
create our own stuff and we depending on other people. You they slave. So I know
Exactly.
my brother like to be like he ain't no slave, but he probably sleep right now because he got to get up and go to work in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So that's some.
Gotta go to
But
that
anyway,
slave
I ain't gonna go
plantation.
there
I think we all slaves.
because y'all got to go to work tomorrow to go do
I'll
do
be
some
going
more
till
slave
November.
labor. Right?
I'll be done in
But
November. Hey, and we're gonna talk about my trip coming up. We're gonna talk about
I
a
got
little bit
like
about.
30 more years of slavery to go. I got to go do something right now.
Yeah, you better get it. You
Oh, yeah,
better
we
get
got
on
to.
get on that independent thing. You better buy your truck and get into something more.
Yeah, I can't do 30. I'm just gonna push the button because they mad at Trump. But if Trump don't finish it, I'm gonna finish it. So I ain't doing 30 years. But
Oh Lordy.
I appreciate it.
But yeah,
I know
thank
they
you.
scared, but don't be scared, Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Scared Negroes never got freedom. So
That's right. Never.
So yeah, we're gonna be back. Shouts out to you. Y'all subscribe to Matron channel. She gonna be back reading. And y'all support Cassidra, Cash App, CassidraCheek. Y'all support Roman the Bush and what she doing. And eventually we'll be like, yo, are we free or are we like super free? You know what I'm saying? That's the point of having these discussions. So I appreciate y'all. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace, family.